Thank you so much, and a very warm welcome to you all at the MedTech Mission webinar. This is the third webinar in our series, and this is a mission for advancement in high impact areas. And the present call is focused on medical devices, and the call for proposal for the concept proposal is open with an application deadline of 7th November 2025. Shall we go to the next slide, please? So agenda for today is overview of the MedTech scheme by Dr. Pramod. He will also apprise us about the application process and support material. Then we will have a step-by-step guidance on the concept note application portal. And then we will be opening for question and answer session. Over to you, Dr. Pramod, for the next slide.
Okay, ma'am. Dear participants, wish you all a very good morning. I am Dr. Pramod Kumar Prasad, working as Scientist E in Anusandhan National Research Foundation. So as you are aware that this MedTech Mission is an initiative of ANRF in collaboration with ICMR and Gates Foundation. And the mission aims to expand access to high quality medtech, reduce dependence on the import, and to position India as a global innovator in the space. So with this, we have the following objectives like public health impact, affordability and access, self-reliance and competitiveness. So these are some of the objectives of the scheme, and we are working with a vision to ensure equitable access to high quality, affordable and innovative medical technologies that make healthcare in India more effective and accessible. So the key outcomes that are targeted under the scheme are increased commercialization of innovative and low cost or affordable medtech products, and strengthened culture of collaboration between academia and industry in the medtech sector. Next slide, please. So as an overview for the scheme overview, we have the total financial layout of about 750 crores in collaboration with ICMR and Gates Foundation. And we are planning to fund about 50 projects across 5 years duration, and the duration of the project can be up from 2 years up to 5 years. And per project will be funding something between 5 crore to 25 crore. However, even if it is some projects are with high potential cases, then even the funding can be given up to a maximum of 50 crores. So apart from financial support, there are some non-financial supports also. So I'll request Taruna ma'am to please elaborate about this.
Thank you, Dr. Pramod, for an excellent scheme overview. And besides the financial support that the mission is offering you, we will also be giving you a non-financial support in the way ICMR has launched some new initiatives, Patent Mitra, MedTech Mitra, and Intent. So the Patent Mitra gives you full support for filing your applications, defending them, the prior art, as well as the technology transfer, which is the last mile to go. And then MedTech Mitra is there to support you with the regulatory advice and strategy. Also, there are other stakeholders on board with from other ministries and other departments who will be supporting you throughout the innovation pathway. At every step, we will be holding your hand. And then we have an Intent network, which is Indian Clinical Trial Education Network, which is having more than 79 sites across the country, 75 of them phase 2 and phase 3. And we have phase 1 network with 4 sites. And all these sites are functional and the trials are ongoing. We also plan to support you with follow-on funding as well as mentorship support throughout the duration of project and also beyond the project. Next slide, please. I invite Dr. Pramod to cover this one. Or should I cover, Dr. Pramod?
Ma'am, you can cover this.
Okay.
Next slide, I will go through.
Sure, sir. A wide range of entities are eligible across multiple stages of development. Multiple Indian entities are eligible to apply. So we have made the mission scheme as flexible and as open as possible within the framework that the government provides us, and we are open to academic R&D institutions, hospitals, medical colleges, startups, MSMEs, as well as medtech companies and the non-profit organizations. And definitely the mission is supporting wholeheartedly collaborations, industry academia collaborations, as well as inter-institutional collaborations. We also would like to inform you that all entities should be able to demonstrate sufficient facilities and credentials to conduct genuine research and development, such as via DSIR certification. The technologies which are put forth in the mission for further development must have established their proof of concept, which is technology readiness level 3 and above. You may please refer to the TRL definitions that we have provided on the website. Next slide, please. And the mission will support a wide range of medtech areas. As I mentioned, that this particular call is focusing on medical devices, which includes medical equipments, implants, assistive devices, consumables, and surgical tools, in vitro diagnostics, critical subcomponents, and software as a medical device, therapeutics and vaccines, as well as the broader digital health applications are out of scope from the present scheme. Over to you, Dr. Pramod, to bring us the application process. Thank you.
Thank you for giving the overview. So now I will come to the application process and the timelines, what we will be following. So as mentioned here, like the proposals will be considered in 2 phases. The first phase is a simple concept note that is open now, that is followed by a full proposal. So here I would like to give emphasis that submitting the concept note is a mandatory first step in the application process. So only if you have submitted a concept note and that is shortlisted, then only you'll be allowed to submit a full proposal. And if the concept note is not submitted, then the full proposal later on you cannot submit if it in that process. So in the first step, initial concept note submission, the call is open, and then the closure of CFP, the last date is 7th of November, and the time that is given is 5 p.m. And all the submissions need to be made through ANRF online portal, anrfonline.in. So if anything submitted by email or as an attachment or through any other by post, any other mode, the applications will not be accepted. You need to submit applications for Maha MedTech only through the ANRF online portal. And then once we receive these applications, then the CFP concept note will be evaluated, and we will be shortlisting these proposals, and we'll call for a full proposal from the shortlisted CFP. That call will be given sometimes in the month of December. And then we plan to do the final evaluations and declare the results by the month of February. And even February month itself, we'll ask the recommended cases to submit the relevant documents so that we can start or we can release some funds within this financial year by 31st of March. So going by the what are the multiple support resources that we have available to guide the CFP application? There is an email ID provided in my name in the online portal, and apart from that, we have a dedicated channel for query resolution. There is a Maha MedTech Mission @gmail.com. Here you can reach for any application related queries, and if there is any technical support is required, then you can always reach out to support@anrfonline.in. Then in the detail for applications, we have a very detailed FAQ section wise, and that answers to most of the queries on the eligibility, funding, TRL requirements, and different certifications. And link for the same is provided in the home page of the MedTech Mission ANRF portal. And there are some annexures. In the annexure 1, we have given the complete details about the application form. Then in annexure 2, we have TRL definitions and TRL details, like which stage of TRL it will be considered. So based upon the different TRL levels, we have given some milestones. Based upon that, you need to find out that the technology belong to which TRL level. And then annexure 3, we have some national health priorities like communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases. So there is an annexure, but these all are embedded in the application form. So you need to select a drop-down menu and then proceed further with this. So then I will try to walk through the CFP concept note submission form. Now once we are ready with the background, like what is expected out of the scheme, and then what are the support lines, how to register. First, you need to go to ANRF portal, anrfonline.in, and register yourself. So most of the PIs, those who are working in this field, they might have already been registered in the online portal. And if you have forgotten the password or so, there is a very simple step that you just click on the forgot password, and then to the registered email, registered mobile number, you will get an OTP, and then with that OTP, you can register on the, you can log into the online portal. So once you have registered in the online portal, the page looks something like that. Then you need to go to form submission page and click on the form submission. If you have saved the proposal, if you've already worked out and saved, then you can start with the saved proposal. Otherwise, you need to go to the form submission page and start new form submission. And once you click here, it will take to a page where it will show what are the different calls which are open in the ANRF portal. So here I would like to mention that there are two schemes called ITS and Seminar Symposia. These schemes are open throughout the year, so it will always display by default. So apart from this, there are three more Maha mission schemes are going on, like they are live. One of them is AI for science and engineering, then 2D materials, and the third one is Maha MedTech Mission. So in order to apply for this mission, you need to select Maha MedTech Mission, which is mentioned here. And even it's written that submission is open now till 7th of November, and it will close at 5 p.m. on 7th of November. So even here, I would like to also mention that please don't wait for the last moment. As and when you are ready with the documents, with your all the details, don't wait till 7th. So you can submit, because we have already receiving a lot of applications have been submitted. There are lots are in the draft. So as and when you are ready with your thing, please do not wait. You just submit it, because it's a very simple form. And if there are any queries related to form submission, we're always there to help you out. So next slide, please. So here I will give an overview of the overall form submission. So once you click on Maha MedTech Mission, it will show some page something like this. So there are in this, you can see there are around 9 or 10 milestones that you need to cross one after the other in order to submit the entire form, and then only you'll be finally allowed to submit. So first, in the first page, you'll need to create a profile section where since once you have registered, some the basic details you have already given, but in the profile section, you need to provide your own details about the academic research institute, startup, if we belong to startup industry, all these details need to be provided, and there you need to upload a biodata for which a template is provided in the online portal. So you need to follow that template and upload a biodata in the first place. And then you need to give some other details about the expertise and the type of institution details. So here, I would like to mention that there are many queries from the startup MSMEs that my name of the institute or the startup or MSME is not reflecting in the online portal. So basically, I would like to say that in the most of the schemes of ANRF, generally we had academic institutes or the research laboratories. So most of those institutes are already reflected or already mentioned there in the type of institutes. But this is the first time when we are allowing the startups, MSMEs, industries to participate in our schemes or in the funding mechanism. So most of the startups and MSMEs might not be reflected in the drop-down menu of the institution list. So what you need to do for this is that just you need to write to support at the rate of ANRF online with the basic details about the institute, and then immediately or within a few hours only, the institute will be added up. Most of the institutes have been added up already. So you need to write to support, and then the assistance will be provided, and then you can find your institute or the startup name in the drop down. Then you can proceed further. For private sector entities and other entities for whom the retirement age, there is a column called retirement age. So there were even queries that we belong to a startup and MSME, we don't have any particular fixed retirement age like common employees, and also what should we do? So there it is suggested that if for whom retirement age is not clearly defined, you can put a future estimated retirement date and proceed further. So you need not stuck at this step, and you just put up a future date and then you proceed further with the process of application. So once you go to the next step, then here COPI details. If there are some COPIs in the application form, then you need to but you need to make sure that all the copiers whom you want to be a part of the project, they should be registered in the online portal. They may be from the same institute or maybe from a different institute. If they are from same institute, you can proceed further as it is. If it is from a different institute, you need to select those institute and then proceed further to add the co-PI details. And multiple PIs are there, then you need to select the add options and then enter the details for the multiple co-PIs. Then you'll formally start with the overall the application, the technical details of the application form. The final application form is divided into 4 sections, like project or technology overview, then prior financial support, proposal development status, and then finally the budget details. So I'll go through one by one in the different sectors. What are the details that you will be required? So in the section A, project technology overview, there are 2 parts. There are some basic details column and then some details where you need to provide some write-up about the technology that you are proposed. So in the first part, you need to mention the title of the proposal and its core purpose under the first name and intended use of technology. Then your PI details, like select one of the type of from the drop-down menu from where you belong to. Then the technology type, there are queries that my technology type is not reflected. There are some technology types already there in the drop-down menu, but there are many that is not there. So in that cases, you can select others option and then another box will open. So what the technology is about, you can mention there and proceed further. So you need not wait for us or you need not write to us that you kindly add this technology in the drop-down, then only I can go ahead. You can always select other options and write the name of technology and proceed further. Then there is a field called TRL stage. Under this, you need to provide an annexer. We have already provided an annexer for TRL stage selection. Whichever stage it belongs to, you need to select that stage and provide a proof. So there is no standard format of certificate, and the document is mandatory, but there is no particular format or certificate that is required. So you can provide any supporting document related to this and proceed further. So like similarly, you will be required to provide some IP status, like mention about the patent details, then some regulatory status. And then there is a field called National Health Priority Alignment. So you need to select the disease area focus or the sub-classification from the top-down menu, that where this your technology or your work belongs to, like communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases. So there are multiple options there. So you need to select it from there, from the classification and sub-classification to proceed further. And there is an annexer also available in the portal. So then in the second part of the project or technology overview, you will be required to provide some details about some write-up about the project, like you need to provide a brief overview of your technology or project. So here you need to think about how your project helps to achieve the mission objectives. Then in the second part, what is the rationale for your project? Here you can explain about the problem statement, what are the core values of the product in terms of impact on public health and economic impact and innovation. Then the third question will be, what is the innovative or novel about your project proposed solution? So here you may specify the relevance to the local, national, as well as international context. You can provide some write-up about this, so that will be helpful in evaluation of the proposal. Then there is a research collaborator column. Sorry. In the next step, you will be asked to provide something about the market opportunity. There are some fields like total addressable market and then expected impact on the public health. So you need to very carefully put up this data required fields and fill up these fields, because these are some vital parameters for evaluations. Once you submit the CFP and the committee will be evaluating, so they will be going through all these details minutely to shortlist your proposal to find out that what is the overall impact on the public health. So you need to mention about the different national health priorities that it aligned with, and through improved accessibility, availability. So you try to give more emphasis on this part, because it will be very minutely taken care while evaluating your proposal. And then potential to reduce importance or dependence, if any, that application can also highlight the economic impact, what it will be making and what is expected out of the project. Then in the next field, you will need to require mention about some details about the team's credibility and its commercialization achievements. Although you might have already given some details about the PI, co-PI, collaborators, but here in point number 9, you need to describe the strength and expertise of the project team that is not mentioned previously. And then if something is specifically, you need to emphasize in the proposal. And then in point number 10, they describe the document or the evidence available to substantiate your current TRL stage. So here I would like to mention that all the supporting documents you need to upload, and that is available in the TRL staging annexer. So you may refer to the list provided in the FAQ section of ANR portal, and there is no specific template or mandatory certification needed at this stage for TRL certificate for TRL. So entities with proposals having multiple TRL stage components may submit distinct proposals corresponding to different components, or may submit TRL evidence for each of the components in one proposal. So if there are, you are having some proposal where multiple stages of TRL are involved, so you are suggested to submit separate two different application forms and do not club it together while submitting the proposal. Next slide, please. So then there is a field called proposed research collaborator. So here you need to mention the details about the collaborating entities, and you may add more than one collaborator if it is required to carry out the proposed work. While only Indian entities are allowed to lead the to be a lead applicant, even international companies may be a part of collaboration, and but they will not be eligible for funding. However, so funding will be given to only PIs and co-PIs. So this proposed research collaborators, they can add up, apart from fund, they will not be getting funding, but they can add value to the project and they can help in some or other way. Then in the section B, you will be required to provide some prior financial support, like you need to mention about the funding details of the total committed amount and the total utilized amount to carry out and to reach up to the current level of technology that you have and till date. And then even you need to provide the total grant or support you have received till date to achieve the current TRL. And here minimum one is required, but if you have received funding from multiple sources, then you can select add more, and then you can mention even 4, 5 up to maximum 5 funding sources from where you have received funding to reach up to the current level of TRL. Then in the next column, you'll be having some proposal development status. So here also you need to mention about the current achievements of the project to help understand the strength of the proposal. Then you need to mention some key challenges that you have faced and how did you address them while carrying out the project and reaching up to the current TRL. And in the third point, you need to outline the next milestones planned for your project and the major challenges anticipated in achieving them. And the last part or the fourth part of the application form will be the budget section. And in budget section, you need to mention about the funding needed at each stage for the duration of the project, entire duration. And you need to break up into the 3 different parts, like what amount will be required for proof of concept, then what amount will be required for validation, for preclinical or clinical development, and the amount that you think it will be required to commercialize for commercialization support. So under this 3 part, you need to provide the budget breakup, and that finally the system will calculate the grand total. So once you submit with this budget details, then you will be asked to upload some of the documents like DSIR certificate, endorsement, certificate from PI and TRL stage certificate. But here I would like to mention that endorsement letter is not mandatory at this. If you have some endorsement letter, you can always submit. Or if the proposal is shortlisted, we can always get it at a later date. But certificate from the principal investigator is mandatory, as well as TRL stage certificate also it is mandatory. So without this 2 mandatory documents, you will not be allowed to proceed further. It is a mandatory document and it has to be part of all the applications that are to be submitted. So if there are multiple documents for TRL, then you can combine it. Suppose there are 10 pages document, you can combine all the 10 pages, make a single PDF, and then you can upload against the TRL document proof. So once you have uploaded that document, then sorry, the previous page. Okay, so these are the documents already mentioned there. So once you have uploaded these documents, then you will get to see a preview page. Next slide, please. So preview place, you can see there is something written like reference number. So it's around 10 to 12 digit reference number is given there. So this is the as soon as you register in the online portal, a temporary number is generated for all the applicants. And this is a unique number that identifies an particular applicant when the proposal is in the draft stage. So from this, we can identify that the proposal is still in the draft stage. So here I would like to emphasize that in this page, once you preview, you need to select tick box that I hereby declare that the particular details furnished are correct and best to the best of my knowledge. So this checkbox you need to tick and then finally submit. So once you finally submit, then only a number will be generated like ANRF.MT oblique 2025. So this temporary number, until unless you see this temporary number, your proposal is not submitted, because there are many cases that the date is over and people that reach up to this stage, up to last stage, and finally they do not submit. So here, please be very careful that you finally do the tick mark and then finally submit, and the proposal submission number is generated and a copy goes to your registered email ID, as well as in the online portal under the submitted box, it will be there. And also, I'd like to mention that one PI can submit multiple projects, but will receive funding only from one source. So you need to keep this in mind. So we have activated that provision in the portal that you can submit multiple projects, but in case it is selected, it means only one will be selected at the most, and then you can receive funding from only one for one proposal. And once you have submitted the proposal, there is no option to change the proposal or to add up anything more. So be very careful while submitting finally. You go through one in the preview and see all the documents, all the information, all the uploads, they are correct, and then only finally submit. Otherwise, once it is submitted, you will not be allowed to make any changes to the submitted proposal. And then these are some of the list of documents that is needed for submission, like PI biodata, that template is already provided, that is mandatory. TRL stage certification, there is no particular format, but this is also a mandatory document. Endorsement letter from the head of institute, although it's put up mandatory here, but for CFP stage, it is not kept mandatory there. So you can make a note of that. And then certificate from the PI, it's also a mandatory document. And DSIR certificate also. If you already have a certificate, it is also made optional, but whatever documents you have, either you have applied or you have a certificate, you need to provide some details about that. So these are all about the submission process, application process. And now we'll take up, because we are getting regular some queries from the PIs, applicants, those who are trying to submit this application. We will go through some of the common queries, whatever we are receiving. Most of the queries are already mentioned in the FAQs. But apart from FAQs, there are some more queries we'll be adding up to the FAQs. And if there are any other queries, you can always write to us in the chat box. We'll try to address to those queries.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Pramod. So I think we'll now jump into some of the Q&A. So this is a combination of whatever you all had submitted prior to this webinar, as well as we'll cover the questions that are coming live as part of this webinar. So question one, I think Dr. Pramod, Dr. Taruna, was one, how does this scheme interlink with the other government schemes? Can they apply for multiple schemes for the same project? And within that, I think one of the nuances, can PIs be same? So if they are applying for this mission and they have already applied for another government scheme with the same PI, is that allowed or not?
Yes, Dr. Pramod, would you like to answer?
Yes, so I can answer about this. It's always, the answer is always yes, because all the PIs and co-PIs from other agencies, they may also apply to the MedTech Mission, and we'll take it as a new proposal submitted for this scheme, because every scheme has its own aims and objective. So we'll take it in that point that you are interested to apply for this, and then you want to work for the cause for which this scheme has been designed. So you're always open to apply as a PI. If you have already applied under different schemes like BIREC and PRIP, always you can submit a proposal under MedTech.
Yeah, and just one point I just wanted to re-emphasize was that for same component, you can't apply for multiple government schemes. So for example, if it is a outsourced service or same staff, you can't have funding from multiple government schemes for that. And as Dr. Pramod said, for different parts of the value chain, for different components of the project, you are very well encouraged to apply for multiple schemes and get funding from multiple schemes. I think question two, I think Dr. Pramod, you can take this one as well. You were explaining all the process in terms of how entities can get registered. The question is how startup can apply as a PI and choose an educational institution as a co-PI.
Yes, this I've already mentioned while going through the application process that most of the startup, they are not registered in the online portal as an institute or an identity. So PI should reach out to the support system at they should write to support at the rate of ANRF online and to get the startup or the institute name added to the drop-down menu. So they need to provide some basic details about the name, address, and one or two basic details. They will be providing the template, and then institute will be added up. And after that, once institute is added up, it will be reflecting in the drop-down menu, and then you can proceed further. Then they can select their respective organization under the PI institution section and proceed further if they intend to apply as a PI with any co-PI from other educational institution. So they need to first register themselves and then only proceed further.
Thanks a lot. I think then on TRL, I see questions live as well, and some of you had sent the questions upfront also. What is the type of certification needed at this stage? Dr. Taruna, if you can please elaborate on that.
Thank you very much, Rohit. We do not need any, there is no certificate or there is no format for the certificate. What we need is supporting documents. For example, if you have already got a test patch license from CDSCO for the same device that you want to develop further, just upload that CDSCO test patch license, which will be a sufficient evidence for us to believe that it has what kind of a TRL level. So that is the important thing to note, that evidence appropriateness, whatever you are uploading, this will be considered by an expert committee, and there is no particular format or any certificate template for uploading. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think a related question to this in the Q&A that I'm seeing is someone has asked that from TRL 3 to TRL 7, they don't have any certificate. Can there be a self-declaration of the TRL level they are at? Uh,
It
yeah.
has to be a self declaration, definitely. And also, for example, if as I mentioned, if they have applied to CDSU or they have an ethics committee approval of the clinical evaluation, all those kinds of regulatory approvals, if they have, that will support their application, and therefore they should upload if they have any.
Yeah. And then I think the last one is also quite related. If there are multiple components of the same device, but those components are at a different TRL levels, how should they either make it as a same project or different projects, and what is the supporting documents they should give?
Thank you, Rohit. What we are aiming at is that one particular project should be focused on development of a one specific device or diagnostic. But in case there is a platform technology and which has multiple applications, and the PI thinks that they should be submitting an application for the platform technology development, or if they have already developed that platform technology and then now they would like to evaluate it for different applications, they can submit. So it is completely on the PI's wisdom how they would like to project their proposal. Yeah.
Thanks. If we can go to the next page. So then I think additional evidence needed if temporary staff or researchers are applying as PI, co-PI. Ma'am, if you can cover this.
So, just to make it more open and flexible, the visionary leadership has decided that we should open it up for the temporary staff members and researchers as well. So, if the head of the entity gives them an undertaking that yes, they can take up the project as a PI, co-PI, and they are, the temporary staff definitely will not draw any salary or remuneration from the project grant. But if they upload a certificate from the head of the organization who is vouching that they can carry on this program, we would be very happy to support.
Thank you. And I think related to this, who should endorse the project if the applicant is an independent researcher?
Hmm. So again, wherever you want to pursue that research, be it an incubator, be it in association with an NGO, or be it with industry. So wherever you want to carry out that program, you must get an endorsement from that institution or organization.
And lastly, I think who owns the IP rights, given I think government is giving part or full funding, people have been asking who will own the IP in this case.
So the IP completely belongs to the grantees. It is their idea, their wisdom, their efforts that we are only supporting them. So we will be facilitating, in fact, protection of their IP rights through the Patent Mitra. And when there are multiple collaborators joining together, it is between them they determine what kind of an understanding they have. They should preferably sign a memorandum of understanding, clearly defining their roles and responsibilities, and also with respect to the IP rights and the publication process.
Thank you. Dr. Pramod, I think next question would be good if you can share your insights. Is SERB registration mandatory for both the PIs and the co-PIs in this call?
Yes, I have also mentioned while going through the proposal that as per the portal design, all the PIs and co-PIs, they are supposed to get registered in the online portal. Then only they will be able to submit an application. So all the PIs and co-PIs, it is mandatory for them to register in the online portal. So first the PI has to start the application form, and then if it belongs to the same institute or from a different institute, based upon that, there is an add more option is there. If the same institute, then under the same credentials, they can apply. And if it is from a different institute, they need to select that institute from where the co-PI belongs. Then they need to provide the details of the co-PI, which is already registered. They just need to choose from the drop-down menu and about the institute and then proceed further. So there are multiple co-PIs can be added up. The PI will be one lead PI, but there can be multiple co-PIs and add more options are there. But it is mandatory for both PI and co-PI to register in the portal.
Yeah, and I think a related question to this is, given a team of 8 people, can we add each one of them as co-PI?
Yes, as I told, that add option is there, and whether they belong to same institute, all 5 or all 8 can be from the same institute or they can be from a different institute. But the only condition is the institute has to be and the PI has to be registered in the online portal. And there is add more option there. They can keep on adding more and then start populating the co-PIs.
Yeah. And I think just a little add to that, while you can technically add as many co-PIs as you want, I think we were having this leadership chat with the DG ICMR and ANRF CEO. The encouragement to everyone was that do apply a judgment that these people are playing a significant role in the project. Just because, for example, the credentials are good, and to make sure the project gets highlighted as a good project, don't expand the leadership team if they are not playing a significant role in the project. So all of that will get judged when some of this gets into evaluation. So that will be my humble request to everyone.
Yes, they need to justify that why the PI or co-PI, why so many co-PIs have been added up. What is their role in implementing the project? Whether
Yeah.
it's not be only for an administrative purpose that they have been added up, like they belong to HOD, head of the department or something like that so they should have a critical role to play in the implementation of the project. Only then it's a valid justification is there that to be added up as a co-PI.
Yeah. I again see the question which Dr. Pramod had already covered, how to fill the fields like department, date of retirement in case the PIs are from the private sector. As Dr. Pramod said, you can put, if there is no retirement date, you can put a placeholder there as some date. And for the department and designation, I think those are things that are very closely mirrored in the private sector as well. So would
Yes.
request you to fill
Yes, so
in those fields.
for startup and MSME, I will say that because you need to understand that the portal is basically initially it was designed for academic research institutes, labs. So most of the fields like departments, designation, it is been keeping that in mind. So that does not belong mostly to a startup and all. But so you need to make your own judgment what you can put up there and proceed further. Do not stuck there, and because this will not be a vital parameters while evaluating. These are just capturing some basic informations. So you can take for like retirement age, you can select a future date and proceed further, because if you will have to remove this, there is a process flow, and then the whatever database we have, that database we'll have to modify in a different way. So we have kept intentionally these fields there. Whatever is applicable to you, you fill up there, and what if it is not applicable, like retirement age, you just make your own judgment, put up any future date, and proceed further.
Yeah. I think last couple of questions before we wrap up. One was again on the DSIR certification, whether it is mandatory at any stage of the project. Dr. Taruna, if you want to clarify.
We've already answered, it is not mandatory. And whatever certificate you have to vouch for the excellent facilities that you have to conduct that project, just let us know about that. Thank you.
Yeah. And last thing is adding a collaborator mandatory, or can one organization apply on its own?
There is no mandatory status for having a collaborator. However, more people, multidisciplinary programs, multi-centric programs definitely will be preferred by the mission, because we are aiming for impactful technologies.
Yeah. And I think couple of clarifications, because there are questions on these. One point I wanted everyone to note is you will see in the form and the supporting documents, we have used the words institution as well as entity. So please use these words interchangeably. We mean the primary applicant as the entity and as the institution. So even if the primary entity is the private sector company, you can assume that that is the institution which is applying for this program. Second, I think we covered this earlier. It is a humble request to please submit the application on time. We have discussed this with the leadership team, and there will be no timeline extensions. There was already a timeline extension that has happened. So beyond the current date, there won't be any timeline extension. So it is a humble request to everyone to please complete. And in the spirit of, I think, having the applications being filled on time, we had kept the application form very simple and concise, as you would appreciate. So that was my last point, and I would request Dr. Harpreet for any closing remarks.
Harpreet, you need to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Rohit. Firstly, my heartfelt gratitude to the leadership of the three organizations, and Dr. Rajiv Bair from ICMR, Dr. Shiva Kumar, CEO, ANRF, and Dr. Harish from Gates Foundation for this wonderful initiative. And my special thanks to the presenters, Dr. Taruna Madan Gupta and Dr. Pramod, for the lucid presentation and bringing out clarity on most of the queries of the participants. Special thanks to our organizers of this webinar from the BCG group and all the participants for the valuable time awarded. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining, and look forward to your submissions.
Thanks one and all, and we hope to receive the proposals, those who are in the draft, at the earliest. Although we'll be sending a reminder to all the people in the draft, and those who are present physically, you can even reach out to other people and tell them to submit at the earliest, or we'll be sending through online portal, and we expect your proposal at the earliest possible, by latest by 7th of November. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, everyone.